All right, let's go ahead and finish up the last and final PowerPoint presentation for Chapter 5 about classical China and India. In part 9, we're going to be looking at China after the fall of the Han Dynasty. And just to recap, remember the Han Dynasty of China, they had this long decline, long, slow decline, partly caused by disease, by inequality between the rich and the poor. Diseases spread across trade routes, and a lot of civil unrest. In fact, we have numerous rebellions where peasants are going to support rebel leaders. For example, there's one guy called Wang Mang. They support him because he is promising to redistribute land. Um, basically taking land from the rich and giving it to the poor. And there's also another one called the Yellow Turban Rebellion, which is like this 10-year conflict, absolutely brutal. And the end result is that the Han emperors fail at solving these problems. They fail at uh, addressing the issues that the protesters, rebels, what they want. And the end result is that eventually the Han dynasty will be overthrown. The Han family, of course, would get killed. But instead of having a new succession of another dynasty coming in and accepting the mandate of heaven, we have multiple ruling families are begin to compete. So this is a new era known as the era of the three kingdoms, and it's kind of resembling or recalls back to the Warring States period, right, which was between the Zhao dynasty and the Qin dynasty. But we also had that civil war between ruling families, each one trying to prove that they are worthy of getting the mandate of heaven. And what we start seeing as well is as the dynasty is weakening, collapsing, and China and the Chinese regions are going into civil war, no one is defending the border. So we see a lot of nomadic people come in, and they start settling down. They kind of start blending into Chinese society, accepting Chinese language and culture and everything else in the western and the northern parts of what is now China. So here we see a map of the three kingdoms, right? So these are the three main kingdoms, right? Three different royal families, each one fighting for dominance. And like I said, from the north, we have people settling in the north, we have people settling in the west, right? Nomadic people who are coming in. Borders are now open because there's no, guards, there's no border patrol there anymore. We also see a lot of changes when it comes to the culture of China, and one of the main changes is the decline in Confucianism. And if you remember, Confucianism under the Qin and more importantly under the Han, right? Confucianism explained the method of achieving social harmony, right? And for the long, 400 years of the Han Dynasty, right, Confucianism worked, right? It proved that it was successful. It proved that, if everyone does their job, everyone does their role, everyone has responsibilities for everybody else, then society can get along just fine. And, for the long history of the Han Dynasty, that was the case. But with the fall of the Han Dynasty, people started looking for alternative explanations of how to make the world work. So Confucianism loses its popularity with the decline of the Han. And in its place, people start looking elsewhere and they look at Taoism, which was always there. But now they start looking at Taoism more as a religion and not just as philosophy. And they start going to, do rituals and spiritual stuff as well. And they also look at this new religion of Buddhism, which had slowly made its way across the trade networks into China from, India. And the main attraction of Buddhism and later on Taoism is this idea of salvation. This idea that this life that we currently live in isn't the end all be all. That upon death, there is a chance that your soul can be saved, your soul can reject reincarnation, your soul can reunite, with the ultimate universe soul and achieve nirvana. And so that kind of that promise of something better in the future and then afterlife, it kind of attracted millions of Chinese people who are living, absolutely horrific, they're living under horrific standards in China during the Han Dynasty, or during the decline of the Han Dynasty. So Buddhism gains popularity, Taoism gains popularity, and Confucianism loses popularity during this time. All right, so that's your last and final part of chapter 5. Thanks for watching.